welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer. We got UFC 318 final predictions. Dustin Poirier making his final walk to the octagon as he takes on Max Holloway. And then in a co-main event, we have Kopylov taking on Paulo Costa. And then after that, we have Kevin Holland. He's making his return back. Quick turnaround as he takes on Daniel Rodriguez. And then we have Dan Ige taking on Patricio Pitbull. Who do I have winning between Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway? I'm gonna go with boom! Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are enjoying your summer. We got UFC 318 final predictions. Now let's start with Dan Ige taking on Patricio Pitbull. And when you look at Patricio Pitbull's UFC Octagon debut, he ended up losing to a very dangerous Yair Rodriguez. You know, we know what they do outside of the UFC. What can they do inside of the UFC? He makes his UFC debut, he comes up short. But the question going into this fight, can he handle a vicious Dan Ige? He goes by the name Dynamite. He's always looking for that 50K bonus. He's always knocking out his opponents. Now, when I look at these guys, it is going to be a stand-up battle because Dan Ige, even though I'm assuming both these guys are well-rounded, once again, you have two athletes who tend to go into the fight doing the same thing, which is trying to take off each other's heads. Now, we're going to look at, you know, the keys to victory for both these guys. Now, when you look at Pitbull has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You don't really see him use it. He's always trying to knock out people. So I would say the key to victory, number one, is try to get away from that. Try to utilize different skill sets inside the octagon because we know Dan Ige is going to be looking to take your head off. Why not go into the fight with an element of surprise? Try to use some grappling. Try to use some clinch work. Try to use some wrestling. Each time Dan Ige has fought in his last 7 fights, if he gets taken down, he ends up losing that fight. So Pitbull can use that to his advantage, use the whole tool set of mixed martial arts. Because I always tell people, if you can implement that stuff when you're fighting, your hands are going to be a lot better because you have your opponent thinking about their ground game. Now let's look at Dynamite, Dan Ige. I'm a big fan of him. He's always knocking out his opponent and he always has that 50K bonus check already written when he steps in the octagon because this guy brings fireworks. So the key to victory number one for him, get all over Patricio Pitbull because he is still trying to get accustomed to the UFC. When we saw him fight inside the octagon, he was a little bit of flat-footed. A lot of people thought like, hey, what's going on here? Once again, he fought Yair Rodriguez, who's very dynamic with those explosive kicks. Sometimes when I watch Pitbull, when he fought Sergio Pettis, and when he fights a lot of guys, even when he fought Yair Rodriguez, he has a hard time pulling the trigger. And when somebody has a hard time pulling the trigger, you can force them to pull the trigger prematurely or never pull the trigger by just overwhelming them, being all over them. Number two, be ready for the element of surprise because Pitbull might not want to stand and big with you because Pitbull is older than you are. He has more miles on the body than you do because he was pretty much the CEO of Bellator because he's been there forever. So when you look at these two gentlemen, who do I have winning between Dan Ige taking on Patricio Pitbull? I'm going to have to go with Dynamite. Dynamite has always shown up. He's fought on short notices and he's had full camps, and each time he shows up to fight, he always puts on a banger by leaving it all out in octagon. So for that, I'm gonna go with Dan Ige. And you guys know, when we're talking about UFC 318, I gotta let you guys know this video is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports game you can play directly from your phone. It's very simple. All you gotta do is get on that phone, go to your app store, download PrizePicks. When you do that, use my promo code MIGHTY. You can make your picks amongst mixed martial arts, CSGO, NFL, it'll be back soon, NBA. And if you use my promo code MIGHTY, full promotion going on right now, all you gotta do is play $5. And no matter what happens in those events, you're gonna be $50. And boys, UFC 318, the board is out. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm liking some of the picks. Now right here, Max Holloway landing 131 and a half significant strikes. That is a lot. But the last time those guys fought, he landed like, I think 164 to 184 significant strikes between the both of them. And even, I'm gonna go with less. I'd rather be on the less side and hope either one of those guys are gonna knock each other out. But if you think it's gonna be a 5-round banger back and forth, go with more. But for me, I like to think these guys learned from the last time they fought and I'm like, I ain't gonna take all that fucking damage. And then they even have something new that I kinda like. Round 1, significant strikes. Now, all you gotta do is make your pick in round 1. Paulo Costa, less 19.5 significant strikes. I don't think he'll land that. He's very of a slow starter. The last time he fought Sean Strickland, he wasn't getting off. He wasn't throwing, 18 combos, 18-piece combos. So I like a less. Or you can go with Dustin Poirier, less 25.5 significant strikes. I mean, I kind of like the round one because he kind of gets it done. You could do both. You could do takedowns with round one. You can do anything with PrizePicks. Guys, you just got to make the picks at the right place, which is PrizePicks. Now, shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Let me get back to the breakdown so you guys can make the right picks at the right place. We have Kevin Holland, fan favorite, fan of the show. I'm a fan, big fan. Thoughts from the shitter. Big fan of that as well. He's taking on Daniel Rodriguez. Now, a lot of people don't know much about Daniel Rodriguez, but he's on a 2-fight win streak, and he just knocked out his last opponent, and he tends to go about the fight by boxing. Pretty big for a welterweight. Looks like he's got some size on him, but that never deters Kevin Holland to what he does best, and that's just being active and fighting. Kevin Holland, he just beat Vincent Luque with a beautiful dark man choke or black man choke, however you want to call it, and he fights so active, and he's fought at middleweight, and he's also fought at welterweight. Now, the biggest thing when I look at this fight between Kevin Holland taking on Daniel Rodriguez is I'm excited that Kevin Holland has made a decision to stay at 170, which I feel that's a natural fit for his weight class. I don't want to see him going up to 180 to 170, but the man loves to fight, and the man loves to fight to make that money, so his black ass can go hunting. But let's take a step back and get into it and break this down. When you look at Daniel Rodriguez, he's on a 2-fight win streak. So for him, the key to victory number one is keep that momentum going. A lot of athletes, but before he was on that 2-fight win streak, he was on a 3-fight losing skid. Now he's got some momentum going into this fight against Kevin Holland. So key to victory number one, he's got to keep that momentum. Keep riding that W and use that as inspiration to get to a 3rd-fight win streak. Key to victory number two, keep Kevin Holland guessing. Kevin Holland's going to come out there. He's going to talk to you. He's going to try to take you to dinner. He's going to try to get a beer with you. You have to keep him guessing by kicking his legs, push kick, trying to wrestle him. But when you try to wrestle him, make sure you don't get caught in that dark man choke. And key to victory number three, let your hands go. While Kevin Holland is sitting there yapping, you got to let your hands do the talking. Don't talk back to him, because if you gauge in that talking, he already know he in their mind, and that's psych warfare. So those are very interesting key to victories, because typically when I'm talking about key to victories, it's always about do this technique, do this technique, do this technique. But when you have somebody who comes into the fight who's kind of unpredictable, who kind of talks, who kind of has a good time in there, it becomes a psychological warfare where you have to stay focused here instead of your more of a physical, if you catch my drift. Now, let us get to Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland fights so often. This guy will take an L and his black ass is on the next card 4 weeks later, not worried about whether he's winning or losing. But that's what makes him so unique, and that's what makes him so damn good and dangerous. So the key to victory number one, get in your swagger mode. When you saw him fight Vincent Luque, he was on a different level. Like, he believed in himself. He loves to be at 170. He's talking to Vincent Luque, and he just put on a masterclass, and he took advantage. Once Vincent Luque did that kick, he caught the kick, took him down. Once Vincent tried to wrestle up, he locked in a dark man choke, and that was it. So he's got to get to that swagger that he has when he steps inside the octagon. Key to victory number two, start yapping. When you yapping, you're having a good time, and everybody else around you is having a good time. And I think a lot of people aren't used to people being talked to when you're inside of the octagon or damn near a fight. So key to victory number two, keep on yapping, brother. And key to victory number three, utilize your whole tool, your whole tool set. You got great jiu-jitsu, you're long, he has good kicks. He's very dynamic, and he's able to capitalize on opponents when they make a mistake. And, also on that, he's able to do that because he has great cardio. Now, when I look at Kevin Holland taking on Daniel Rodriguez, I'm going to have to go with my man, Kevin Holland. I love when he is very active at fighting. He's not focused on becoming a world champion. Even though he's staying at 170, he's going to try to make his way there. But this guy truly enjoys fighting. He doesn't care who he fights. He's making that statement that he's staying at 170, and I think he's a force to be reckoned with at this division. And maybe he put, 4 or 5 a win streak. Maybe we could potentially see him fight for gold, but I think for him, he's fighting for that green. And baby, if it's green, we know it's all good. Now let us get to the co-main event. Roman Kopylov taking on Paulo Costa. Now, at one point in time, I felt Paulo Costa was the boogeyman of the middleweight division. I truly felt that way. I felt when he would fight, he's super athletic, he's built like a goddamn Brazilian Greek god, and he would just show up, beautiful combinations, high kicks to combinations. His fight with Yoel Romero was a banger. You know, he did get the BBC from Israel Adesanya, but when he steps in, you just don't know what version of Paulo Costa you're going to get. You know, he's had some kind of cancellation in his fights. He'll show up. You just don't know who's going to show up. But on the flip side, when you see Roman Kopylov show up, I just broke down one of his fights. I'm going to tell you right now, this guy is a game fighter, meaning that he comes, he threw a body kick, he hurt him to the liver, the gentleman kept on fighting, and then next you know, he hit a beautiful straight down the middle to the body, and that's when the gentleman quit. So when you look at these two athletes, I'm going to start with Paulo Costa, okay? Key difference number one, take it serious, right? Obviously, you're a professional athlete, but a lot of us don't know where your head is, especially myself, and I've been following your career for a very, very long time. We all hope that he took the training camp serious because he's taking on a dangerous opponent that could potentially really hurt him. Key difference number two is, you know, let's get back to the old Paulo Costa. You know, I know the Shaman hasn't won a fight since 2022. The last person he beat was Luke Rockhold, and Luke Rockhold isn't even in the UFC. And when you take a look at it, it's like, is he in the game or not? If Paulo Costa can get back to the, you know, the old where he was the boogeyman of the division, beautiful kicks, beautiful technique, and beautiful combinations, I think he's going to be better off. And key to victory number three, don't let your past dictate your fight, right? 2-fight losing streak. You know, you had that boring ass fight with Sean Strickland. I think we all can agree. I think he can agree that was a boring fight too. Don't lay an egg. Go out there and let it fly. You're a professional fighter. You only have 2 jobs in the world, and that's fucking make weight and go out there and fight. Now, let us go get Roman Kopylov. Key difference number one, for Roman Kopylov, take the fucking fight to Paulo Costa, because you look at him, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. We can never know what version of Costa is going to show up. And when I step in a fight and I'm about to fight someone who's on a 2-fight losing streak, yes, it does make them dangerous, but at the same time, it also makes it timid because he knows if he loses a 3rd time in a row, he might be getting his pink slip. So, key difference number one, take the fight to Paulo Costa. When I mean take the fight to Paulo Costa, take the fight on the feet, on the ground, the clinch, take it everywhere and make it feel you want him second guessing, man, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. I'll never forget when I fought Kyojo Horiguchi and he took my black ass down and I was sick and I was like, I don't want to fucking be here right now. But we were able to rally and get the job done. I think if you could put Paulo Costa in that same mindset, I think we see him break and keep him guessing. When you saw his last fight against Sean Strickland was able to stifle a bigger, more athletic athlete by just walking forward with his hands down like this. If you can keep Paulo Costa guessing if you're going to grapple, if you're going to kick, if you're going to go to the body, or if you're going to clinch, he will not know what to do depending on what version of Paulo Costa shows up. Now, given those key to victories that I've given with Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov, I'm going to have to go with Roman Kopylov. I just don't know what version of Paulo Costa is going to show up on fight night. I just don't like the inconsistent of Costa. But Roman Kopylov, he seems to be on a hot streak. He seems that he's trying to grind and make a name off of a guy like Costa. So for that, I'm gonna go with Roman Kopylov. Now, we come to the main event of UFC 318. Dustin Poirier taking on Max Holloway. The trilogy, 0-2 for Max Holloway. So it shouldn't be a fucking trilogy, because when you beat somebody 2 times, it's like, I'm not going to give you a 3rd shot. But, fuck, I guess I will. But we got Dustin Poirier making his final walk to the octagon. Now, I think this is the biggest story of this fight, because we know Max Holloway, whether he wins or loses, he's going to continue to fight. But we know this is Dustin Poirier's last dance. Does Dustin Poirier need this fight? I don't think so. I think he's got enough money in the bank to do whatever he wants to. But why not go off in a sunset with a nice check? But when you look at Dustin Poirier's career, what an amazing career to begin with. You know, he beat Max Holloway a long time ago. And if you go back and watch that fight, Dustin Poirier took less damage in that fight against Max Holloway than he did the second fight. For me, when I watched it, I was like, this is how the fight should go. You should go out there, use your jiu-jitsu, take him down past your guard, and submit him. But Dustin Poirier has fallen in love with striking, which I don't blame him, because he's knocked out and got a lot of fucking bonus checks from that. But when he had the second fight with Max Holloway, they were both sitting there exchanging back and forth. If you guys go back and watch my instant reaction, somebody in the comment section said, this is the first time we've ever seen somebody skip past all of the striking, the banger of the striking. Guys, I've been fighting forever, and for me, I like the full meal deal. I don't want to go to fucking McDonald's and just have, you know, a burger and fries. If I'm gonna go to McDonald's, I want the fucking full meal deal. I want burger, fries. I want fucking chicken strips. I want the goddamn milkshake. I'm gonna go to Wendy's because they got the strawberry frosty. That's what I'm looking for when I watch a fight. But I know a lot of you guys like to look at bangers. But let's go ahead and talk about, you know, these guys. I wanted to give a little special sauce for Dustin Poirier making his last walk to the octagon. But we look at Max Holloway. The second time him and Dustin did fight, he did take this fight on short notice because Dustin Poirier's opponent fell out. So when he stepped in the fight, he even said it. We have him on a Mighty Cast. If you guys haven't heard that, go back and watch that. He said he had a fat tire around his waist. But now you're going to see a more athletic, more stronger Max Holloway in this division. Now, let's talk about the keys to the victory. Max Holloway's key to victory number one is he has to be dynamic. What do I mean by that? If you go back and watch when Max Holloway fought Jose Aldo the second time, he was piecing him up on the feet. When he started piecing him on the feet, he did something different. He started to throw body kicks. He started to use the clinch. And when you look at the second fight when him and Dustin Poirier fought, each time Max, they would go, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. But then once Max got him in the clinch, he threw a beautiful knee to the liver, and then he started to exchange with him, and then he backed off. He backed off. He opened the void again. I'm like, Max, what the fuck are you doing? You're sitting there, and when you did those two things, he didn't give you a receipt. He didn't give you a price tag for that. Right? So Max, he's got to be dynamic and use those kicks, use the hands, and use the clinch. I know Max isn't the biggest wrestler, but use that clinch game to be able to stifle Dustin Poirier and force him to fight. Don't wait to round fucking 4 to do it. Do it to begin with. You strike, you close the void, you start clinching, and then you fight the game from there. Minimize the damage. Don't accept the damage. Key to victory number 2. When Dustin Poirier does try to wrestle you, you have great takedown defense in the second fight. Great takedown defense. Once you stuff that takedown and he loses, then you go back to key to victory number 1. You start that clinch game. You do not open the void. You stay there. I know he likes to pop, 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 do that fucking body shot. Dustin invites the bang. The pop, 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 rock him, sock him, bock him. He invites that, but he does not invite the clinch game. He doesn't invite that stuff. So key victory number 2, once you defend a takedown, go back to key victory number 1, which is fight him in the clinch. And key to victory number 3, if all hell break loose and you're getting your ass whooped for 5 rounds, the last 10 seconds, just do this and Godspeed, my friend. Now, let us go to Dustin Poirier. The key to victory for this gentleman for his last fight inside the octagon. Key to victory number 1 is take the fight. Look what you did the very first time. Look at the very first time you fought Max Holloway. Now, granted, that was over 10 years ago, but if you look at that blueprint and you look at it like, okay, we were able to move, use great head movement, use some kicks, shoot a double leg takedown, take Max down, pass his guard, and submitted him. I would model my blueprint off of that because I finished this gentleman and took less damage. I don't know if he went back and watched his very first fight with Max Holloway. He should have. If I was in his camp, I'm like, let's not watch the second fight. The second fight was back and forth. You guys beating the shit out of each other. Let's go back and watch the fight. You did beat him and you submitted him. Key to victory number 2. When you do engage in the wrestling aspect with Max Holloway, don't do it in the 4th and 5th round because you're already tired. Do it at the beginning of the fight. He does a good job of going, he's southpaw, he goes 1-1-2, and he switches to orthodox, he goes 1-1-2. I think that gives Max Holloway a problem because the power shots are coming from both sides, from a southpaw position and an orthodox position. And I felt that was hard for Max to be able to adjust to. So add in the takedowns. Don't do it at the beginning. Don't do it at round 3, 4, 5. Do it in the beginning of the rounds 1, 2, because you're starting to build that dynamic. You're starting the snowball effect. A lot of people don't do that. They start boxing. Okay, I'm not knocking him out. Round 2, round runs over. Round 2 goes. Round 3 goes. Round 4. I guess now that I fucking boxed for 4 rounds, I guess I'll start wrestling. You start doing it round 1, round 2, round 3. Round 4, round 5, you have all that build up, and then you're starting to mix everything up. So key to victory number 2, don't wait to the very end to start adding the rest like you did the second fight. Add that in the beginning of the fight, just like you did in the first fight. First time you fight. Key to victory number 3, enjoy this last fight. It is your very, very last fight. I've been there before. I knew when I had my last training camp, I was like, I'm tired of fucking working hard. And I'm sure you are as well. Enjoy it. I mean, you're not, whether you get knocked the fuck out or you knock him out, it's the last time people are going to scream your name. It's the last time, weight cut, all that stuff. So, keep it number 3. Enjoy the moment. Now, when it comes to these two gentlemen, who do I have winning between Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway? I'm going to go with Max Holloway. Here's the reason why. And I like both these guys. And when I do this channel, I come with it unbiased, unless you're Izzy Adesanya. Okay? I have Max Holloway winning this fight, and the reason why is because I feel Max Holloway has something to look forward to after this. Where Dustin, he can come in a fight and just be like, oh, this is my last fight. I don't care what's going to happen afterwards. And a lot of people might say, DJ, you fucking crazy. You crazy. You know Dustin Poirier is 2-0 against Max Holloway. So the fact that Max Holloway's even getting an opportunity to fight Dustin Poirier and Dustin go right up for sunset and be 3-0, yeah, it is a little bit me crazy thinking that Max can beat Dustin even though Max is 0-2. But I feel that, Max can be more dynamic. I felt Max took that fight on short notice and Dustin did hurt him. But I feel Max it has a new motive in this, and hopefully he can get it done. But I'm not saying Dustin Poirier can't win this fight. He's already beat the man 0-2. I'm just going to go with Max Holloway because I feel he's going to be able to be more dynamic. He's taking the fight, he's had a full training camp, and he's starting to, make his strides at 155. So boys, each time I watch the UFC, the pay-per-view, I always do it not with you guys, but this is the first time I'm going to do a fight companion with you guys. I'll be live when the UFC 318 starts. Now, I might not be live right when it starts, but depending on how, it's my son's birthday. I might be live when Dan Ige takes on Patricio Pitbull, but I know I'll be live when Kevin Holland steps in the octagon to take on Daniel Rodriguez. So make sure you guys come back here Saturday night as we do a live Mighty companion with you beautiful people. So boys, if you guys enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, subscribe, and also hit that bell to go live, and we'll see you guys here Saturday night. Peace.